What if you're not making the progress that you want in your life or getting the things that you want, not because you're really unable to or not because you really don't want to, but because you're letting some assumptions keep you stuck and hold you back? Well, today I'm going to talk about what 5 of those common assumptions are and why they're just not true. The first assumption you may be making that's holding you back is you feel like everybody else has it all together and you don't. You're looking at your friends, you're looking at people you work with, you're looking at people on social media, and you're looking at their successes, you're looking at their confidence, you're looking at all the great things that are coming their way, and you find yourself comparing yourself to them. You feel like your starting point is so far behind everybody else's that why even try to do something new or take a new opportunity? The reason why you can have this false assumption is because you're comparing your insides, you're comparing your thoughts, your worries, your insecurities, everything that you know about yourself to other people's outsides, where everything looks wonderful when you're looking at other people from the outside because you don't know about what's going on with them internally. And so you're making this false comparison, and it's making you tell yourself that you're not even in the same league with other people when you really are. Have you ever noticed that whenever you do get to really know another person who maybe you looked at as having this perfect life, or maybe you saw them without any problems or very successful, that the more that you got to know them, you discovered that they had some of the same insecurities, some of the same worries and failures that you do. And once you realize this, it brings everybody down on more of a relatable level. The next assumption that can keep you stuck is when you feel like other people are always observing you and making judgments about you. You feel like you're always in the spotlight. And so therefore it can hold you back because you feel like, well, if I can't do something perfectly, then others are going to think poorly of me, or they're going to judge me. Or if I make a mistake, people are going to watch me make that mistake, and it's going to be embarrassing or humiliating. That can be so much pressure. And once we realize that other people are not paying attention to us, other people are too busy with their own lives, and even if they do notice something about us, they're not watching our every move. And so once you realize that, there's a real freedom in feeling like I don't have to be stuck because I don't have to be perfect, and it is okay to make mistakes, and people are not going to judge me poorly even if I make a mistake, and a lot of times they're not even going to notice. The next thing that'll keep you stuck is when you believe that an opportunity that is in front of you will just continue to be there and you don't have to immediately move on it. John Maxwell says something that I think is so profound. He says, opportunities never look as good coming as they do going, and they wait for no one. What that means is when an opportunity is in front of us, sometimes we miss that opportunity thinking, well, I'll just wait or I'll just sit on it and it'll always be there. And it's not always there. And sometimes when it's gone, that's when we really wish we would have jumped on that opportunity. The next thing that'll keep you stuck is when you assume if you're not really good at something in the beginning that you are in over your head and it is not for you. We've all felt this way when we've started something new. And it can feel very uncomfortable when we're not really good at something and we feel like, I don't really know if I can do this. I feel like I'm in over my head. One of the questions that I ask myself in these situations is, are you really in over your head, or is it just merely out of your comfort zone? Because there's a difference. When you're in over your head, basically you are drowning. And when you're just out of your comfort zone, then you are treading water, but you're not drowning. There can be this fine line between in over your head and out of your comfort zone. The best thing is to ask for help. When you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't really know if I can do this or not, to be able to ask for help. And once you get the help that you need, you realize it really is just treading water, and it's going to get easier the more often you do it. The next thing that'll keep you stuck is when you assume that other people are going to say no or reject you, so you don't even ask or go for it. You don't even ask for the meeting. You don't ask for the date. You don't ask for the meetup. You don't ask for the sale, because you're thinking the other person is just going to say no, and it's going to feel horrible. And so therefore, you don't even ask. And by assuming that, you miss out on so many opportunities. Sure, rejection is never pleasant for anyone, but every single person goes through it. When you think about the most successful people that you know, they got to where they are because they have been rejected, but they didn't give up. My husband was sharing with me that when Sylvester Stallone, after he wrote the script for Rocky, he was rejected nearly 1,500 times. Can you imagine continuing on trying for something after you had been rejected almost 1,500 times? Now that you know these assumptions, is this going to be your cure-all? No, because human nature still causes us to continue to assume these things. But as I always say, self-awareness is the first step. I still have to fight against these assumptions on a daily basis. Now, do you have a success story where you made one of these assumptions in the past? When you challenged it, you realized it was just not true? If so, share those in the comments below so that we can all learn from each other. And if you know of someone who needs to see this video, I hope you'll share it, and I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.